Hello, it's so good to have you join us on Idea Morning Digest, your number one show for science, technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. Every time we come here, we get so excited because it's another moment to learn, to share, and to have that heart to heart with you. As usual, I'm never alone. I have my brilliant co host. I was going to say Melanin Poppy, then I remember that no, this one is as bright as a diamond. Good morning, dearest.
Hello, Chinatu. It's always an amazing time to be on the show with you. Well, if you love keeping up with groundbreaking developments, you're in the right place. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television, or you can send in your comments at ideatelevision@gmail.com.
All right, so do well to stay with us because today is packed with something so much more than you can imagine. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, the show continues.
Welcome back to the Idea Morning Digest. Some of the hot news making the rounds. Chinatu, you want to start?
All right, yeah, so we'll go with the first news story here, which is something that speaks to the International Women's Day that was celebrated on March 8th this year.
Of course.
And it says Bolt empowers female drivers. In a bid to challenge stereotypes and promote inclusivity in the ride-hailing industry, Bolt has launched a special initiative under its She Can Drive campaign. The program is designed to equip female drivers with essential defensive driving skills, safety measures, and emergency preparedness techniques. In a statement released yesterday, the company emphasized its commitment to ensuring the safety of female drivers while demonstrating that women provide safe, efficient, and professional services on the platform. The event brought together female drivers from Bolt's network for an interactive session featuring hands-on training and expert-led discussion. Police conducted defensive driving workshops, offering practical strategies for handling various road scenarios, while safety experts shared best practices for responding to emergencies. As part of the initiative, both also recognized the dedication of female drivers by presenting them with gifts in appreciation of their contributions to the ride-hailing industry. Speaking on the initiative, the general manager of Bolt Nigeria, Osiogwa, reiterated the company's commitment to empowering women behind the wheel and reshaping societal perceptions. He further stated that Bolt believed that empowering women in ride-hailing is crucial to fostering inclusivity and diversity in the transport sector. The She Can Drive campaign is more than just a celebration of women in the industry. It is a commitment to equipping them with the tools, skills, and support needed to thrive. With this initiative, Bolt aims to create more opportunities for women in the transportation sector, ensuring that they continue to excel and redefine industry norms. Very beautiful. Redefining industry norms. The first time I saw a female Bolt driver, I was surprised. I think I was out with somebody, and then the person was like, "It's a woman driving." I could see the surprise in his face, like, "Yes, it's a woman driving." And this is something that we've often known only men to do. And so seeing the She Can Drive campaign by Bolt is speaking to advancement, speaking to what we've been singing in the SDG, the SDG 5 over time. Yes, it is now time for women to rise, and we can see Bolt giving itself as a good platform to allow that happen. Because really, let's see, why should we withhold people if they're ready to do things? We see some examples where, I don't know if you've seen this, I think I remember someplace here in Abuja, around Area 1 Market.
Yeah.
There's one woman who was loading a bus. She was loading this bus, just like the other loaders do. And people were saying that they won't join the bus because it was a woman loading it. And I'm just saying to myself that we've moved past that generation where women were just left behind. Women can now do a lot of things that we're seeing, like the men walk. And so seeing Bolt's, push the She Can Drive initiative just speaks to the advancements that we are really pushing.
I mean, for people wanting to enter a car because it's a woman riding it. Just goes to that the stereotype on women and all. But I like what both is doing in the sense that they are trying to leverage on the whole International Women's Day, accelerating action and all. Empowering women is very important to any society. Like they said, women are soft, women are builders, women are home builders, and I love what they are doing. And I think it goes to tell you that what a man can do, a woman can actually do it better. So yes,
I know men will argue that, but yes, that's the truth.
I mean, women can.
Have you ever entered a vehicle where it's a woman driving?
Yes, from I was traveling from Owerri to Port Harcourt, and it was a woman that drove us to. And let me tell you the intriguing thing: there are lots of like checkpoints, but we're not stopped
because
it was a woman. So they were like, if a woman is, please pass, and we had a smooth journey. So yes, women can actually do all of this.
Of course. So we shouldn't be doing the stereotype thing.
No.
As long as it's something that involves skill, that involves talent, and anybody can do it, I don't think it should be specific.
No, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
I mean, a woman driving a cab is obviously trying to put food on the table. So if it's something that's going to bring money and put food on the table, please do it.
Do it.
It doesn't matter what gender you are.
As long as it's fixing and paying your bills, please. Kudos to Bolt, and I hope that other sectors, other industries adopt this mechanism to ensure that everybody is carried along the scheme of things, men, women, regardless.
All right, moving on to some other news. The customer satisfaction index rises. Nigeria's customer satisfaction index has climbed to 67% in 2024, up from 61% in 2023, with significant improvements recorded in telecommunications, bankings, and healthcare. This is according to new customer service in Nigeria reports 2024 published by the West African Association of Customer Service Professionals in Lagos yesterday. The telecom sector saw its rating rise from 58% in 2023 to 63% in 2024, while banking improved from 66 to 72%. Healthcare services also made progress, moving from 62 to 70%. Meanwhile, the transportation sector emerged as the highest rated industry, scoring 73% in customer satisfaction, surpassing the hospitality industry, which slipped slightly to 72%. The public sector recorded the most significant improvement, jumping from 47% last year to 63% in 2024, indicating progress in government service delivery. However, not all sectors saw gains. E-commerce suffered the biggest decline, dropping from 68% in 2023 to 60%, with logistics issues, delayed refunds, and poor customer services cited as major concerns. The power and real estate sectors also remain among the lowest rated. The survey conducted through NigerianCSI.org received over 16,000 responses from Lagos, Abuja, Oyo, Kaduna, Rivers, and Enugu, more than doubling the 7,788 responses recorded in 2023. Top performing companies were also recognized in the report. In the banking sector, Wema Bank, Force Bank, Sterling Bank, Access Bank, and UBA Bank ranked highest. OPay and MoneyPoint led in fintech, while Ibom Air, Airpeace, and Arik Air topped the aviation category. In the power sector, Ikeja Electric was named the best performer, while MTN and Fiber One led in telecommunications. Reliance Family Hospital and Uni Abuja Teaching Hospital were ranked highest in healthcare. Consumer protection, experts say the rise in customer satisfaction reflects increased competition and efficiency, especially in financial services. However, they emphasize the need for continued improvements across all sectors to sustain this momentum. Now, it is no surprise that the healthcare reduced in ranking the best customer, while the transportation industry is, receiving praises for satisfying customers. I mean, every day we use transport, and the fact that they are being ranked the highest when it comes to satisfying their customers is a good thing. Does it mean that the health sector is not doing enough?
The index is getting from feedback from, of course, the people they offer the services to. At the end of the day, there are feedbacks, there are appraisals that are carried out. And so this is a result of that. So what does it tell you? It means the health sector there's a decline. And so we need to do more. I'm very surprised because when we talk about the transportation sector, hitting the mark, we are surprised, especially if you're a Nigerian and you know the current state of things now, when we are talking about transportation,
Yeah.
it's higher. But still, people still find satisfaction. So the question is, how are we deriving the satisfaction? You see, maybe safety, good customer service. If you use rides, after you arrive at your destination, you're allowed to give feedback. Oh, how was this ride? Was it good? Was it bad? So regardless of the fact that you spent more than you should pay for that ride, the next thing you're thinking of, did I actually get satisfaction from it?
I mean, we
So
don't always get satisfaction if we're being honest. But the truth is, I feel like because we use it on a regular, so it's easy for them to
do
come
you
to that assertion.
you think that if you're not getting something good, you'd give a bad feedback?
Okay, fair point.
Yes, because if I'm not getting good service, I'll always want to report. But what we are not doing really is that we do not report. How many people in Nigeria report to Servicom?
Not really.
Not a lot of people even know
Yeah.
that there's Servicom. How many people really use the helplines? How many people report to customer care that they are not comfortable? When you want to see the report happen is when it affects things like money. If you go to the bank this morning, you see the queue, long queue waiting to report. That is because it's like, it almost affects me.
Yeah.
But what's happening in the health sector? Except for directly sick or you are experiencing it firsthand, you're in the hospital and maybe a doctor is not attending to you when he should or not. You now think, oh, it's time to launch a report.
I mean, even the banking sector are in the ranking. I don't know why they didn't come first. Do you think the banking sector, they've not done enough when it comes to customer service? Because the aim of every business is to satisfy customers. And if you're not doing that, then I feel like you failed as a company or as a business entity.
We might not always get it 100 all the time, but I think it calls for reflection. It calls for, deeper search. You didn't do this right this year, so what's going to happen next year? So let's see what 2026 index holds for customer satisfaction. I'm
All
very
right.
sure that those who fell below par would do all they can to, hit the targets
All
next
right.
year. So let's move to the next story now, which says Inspector General vows tech-driven policy for safer schools. The Inspector General of Police has reaffirmed the commitment of the Nigerian police force to leveraging modern technology and intelligence-led policing to enhance security in schools across the country. Represented by the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 1, Ahmed Amani, the police chief emphasized the importance of collaboration with sister security agencies and stakeholders in identifying threats and ensuring a proactive law enforcement presence around educational institutions. Speaking at a security forum, he highlighted key objectives, including identifying and addressing security threats, strengthening partnerships between the police, schools, and host communities, and promoting a culture of security awareness among students, teachers, and the general public. As part of this initiative, training programs will be introduced for educators, administrators, and security personnel to equip them with the skills needed to respond to security threats effectively. Declaring the event open, Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf, represented by the Commissioner for Education, Ali Makoda, reiterated the government's commitment to ensuring schools remain safe through various security measures, including the deployment of personnel and installation of security infrastructure. Meanwhile, the National Coordinator of the School Protection Squad, Abayomi Shogunle, acknowledged Nigeria's security challenges, including kidnapping and attacks on school infrastructure, which have led to school closures and increased the number of out-of-school children. He recalled that between 2012 and 2016, more than 600 teachers were killed in attacks, while over 19,000 were displaced, according to a 2021 report on the National Policy on Safety, Security and Violence-Free Schools. He further noted that Nigeria signed the Safe School Declaration in 2019 to address these challenges. Political analyst Professor Kamilu Fage called for stronger synergy between security agencies and local communities to enhance intelligence gathering and rapid response to threats. While growing concerns over school security, stakeholders continue to push for innovative and effective strategies to safeguard Nigeria's educational system. Well, the one thing that has been in attack in recent time has been schools in Nigeria. And when I mean attack, I mean that there's not enough security apparatus to ensure that schools are very safe. Just yesterday, I got a report of bullying in school. Now, this is a school that has teachers, that has people who are supposed to watch over students, and this is a secondary school. I think the student was in SS1, and bullying happened in that school. Trust me, when I found out, I asked, do you have security cameras? They said no. So tell me how a space where young people are gathered does not have security cameras in check. Do you people have some, there's this thing they have in schools, apart from the compound master, they have like man o' war, some security outfits apart from the police that just ensure that there is sanity in the school.
Yeah.
They do not have. So who do people report to in case of emergency? Oh, it's the principal. It's the teacher. Is it the teacher that's teaching mathematics to just two that will have time to run to the gate when they're bullying somebody? So you see that there's a lapse in a lot of things that we need to do. And what does this tell us? I like that the IG of police is bringing this up. It means that, yes, the conversation is changing and we must rise to the occasion because bullying is increasing in school. Cultism is also increasing in schools these days. But what is happening is that there are not enough security checks to ensure that these things are curtailed. It's not enough to have teachers. It's not even enough to have one policeman in the school. We need gadgets to ensure that students can be safe, can feel safe to learn. That's what I think.
But are you of the opinion that the Inspector General should, deploy police men across schools in the nation for security or to help
Yeah, so
safeguard
there's,
students?
of course, there's something that having security men or women in school does. The moment you see them, you're already, it's secondary school, universities. I know in universities it's really normal to have, they have civil defense in some schools, they have the police, have some uniform men. But in secondary school, that's where I'm worried about. We are probably thinking that these things don't happen there. But I've carried out some outreaches, I've done some research, and I realized that students in SS2 are getting really wild.
True.
The boys, the girls are getting very wild. Fights happen in school, and then the police station is far off. So what really happens in the school is that before help can come, the damage has been done. So I'm of the opinion that, yes, let us have the security men in those schools too. Let the secondary schools be considered in the facet of things. So it's not just universities now. I know we do a lot for the universities, but let us trickle down to secondary schools. And I'm not just thinking that it's just having policemen that's enough. Let's have gadgets in. Let's have security cameras. Will it cost a lot? Yes. But is it necessary? It is necessary.
Then it has been like that for the longest time. I mean, we went through secondary school. We saw it's alarming how secondary schools, engage in all this violence and the attack on secondary schools. It's too much.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's becoming it's a concern, and I feel like. And I like the fact that it's the government the Inspector General of Police that is, saying all of this. But how do we fix this? That's what I'm concerned because even in my own secondary school, the only person we had was the gate man, and the only gadget he had to, safeguard us was a cutlass.
Okay.
No, he had a cutlass. And what can a cutlass do compared to, when, let's say there's a serious attack? He will even run for his life because the first instinct is to protect himself. So I feel like if they can deploy police in secondary school and sensitize students, need them to stop, cultism and all of this violence in school, maybe we'll get it right.
I totally agree with sensitization because I feel like lots of young people are getting it wrong. They have the mindset that you have to belong to a gang to feel among. And they're getting this thing from the outside world. They're getting it when they're not in school. So they come to school with that mindset. But if the policemen, together with what they are doing, with the campaign, they start telling people, this is the consequence of being a cultist. This is the consequence of belonging to a bad gang, it will,
Okay, sorry to cut you short, yeah? We talked about bullying, right? Now, most people who even end up joining all these gangs and associations, they didn't really want to, but because they were bullied. And they felt like, oh, if I'm there and I belong to a gang, I'll protect myself or be protected. So most people enter there out of duress. And this keeps going. So we need, secondary school students need sensitization. It starts with, eradicating bullying in school. Because most students are being bullied and forced to join cultism and associations that are really not good.
I like that you said that. Well, let's move on to the next thing.
Moving on. Nigeria, China strengthens ties in cultural exchange partnerships. Nigeria and China are set to deepen their cultural and creative industry ties as both nations explore new opportunities for collaboration. The Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Yu Dunhai, has expressed China's interest in fostering cultural exchange, particularly in music, tourism, and the creative economy. During a meeting Nigeria's Minister of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, in Abuja. Don Hai highlighted the growing demand for Nigerian music in China and emphasized the potential economic benefits of this partnership. Beyond music, discussions also cover training programs, tourism, promotion, animation development, and incubation programs for young creatives. The ambassador also proposed streamlining visa processes to facilitate smoother interactions between stakeholders in both countries. In response, Minister Musawa welcomed the partnership, assuring China of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to strengthening bilateral relations. She emphasized Nigeria's focus on developing its tourism infrastructure, citing plans to revamp major sites like Yankari Game Reserve, Obodo Ranch Resorts, and Tinapa. With both nations committed to cultural and economic collaboration, this partnership could unlock new opportunities for innovation and growth in Nigeria's creative and tourism sectors. Now, I like the last part, the fact that this partnership could unlock new opportunities for innovation. Now, they talked about the music industry. We've seen how well our music industry is booming right now. And I wouldn't blame anybody that wants to, partner with us because of that, because we are doing something right. And I love the fact that, China, Nigeria, I love partnerships.
Yeah.
I love when two nations come together.
I totally agree. We may not be the giants of Africa when it comes to economy, but just when it comes to talent, when it comes to natural resources, we are still the giants. And this cultural exchange is something that we've seen happen with China. China and Nigeria have always had good ties.
True.
Good ties for the longest. And so I see it coming. I just hope that it opens the door to real infrastructural change, to real shifting. We're looking at how China is developed. We want to see that happen here. So it's not just change on paper. It is real change that we can see, that we can feel, that we can touch, that we can experience as a people, as a black nation.
I mean, the whole partnership with China is a good one, not just to the entertainment industry, even to our economy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win for both nations.
It's a win-win. All right. And so with that, we will just be giving a wrap-up of our news headlines. Today, we brought you news first that Bolt has empowered female drivers.
We also brought you news that customer satisfaction index rises.
We also told you that the Inspector General of Police has vowed for tech-driven policing for safer schools.
And we brought news that Nigeria-China strengthens ties in cultural exchange partnerships.
And with that, we call it a wrap on the news highlight segment. We'll go on a quick break now to be back with the discussion segment. Don't go anywhere. It's still the Idea Morning.
We are moving.
Yes, we are transforming.
And it is time for change. Want to know what is going on in science, technology, and innovation landscape?
We bring to you fresh content and program from our studio.
Join us on Limex for latest updates in science, technology, innovation, invention, research, and STEM education.
Follow us on YouTube and across all social media platforms at Idea Television.
Idea Television, the innovation television.
Welcome back. It's still Idea Morning Diaries. We are glad that you enjoyed the news highlights that we brought your way. It's now time to dive into the conversation for today. Our topic today is the hidden dangers of synthetic braiding hair. Today we are discussing something that is deeply rooted in culture and tradition, which is braided hairstyles. For centuries, braiding has been an integral part of Black culture, representing heritage, social status, and even resistance during historical struggles.
That's right, Chinatu. From funny braids to box braids, cornrows and twists, these styles are not about fashion. They serve as protective hairstyles that minimize exposure to heat and chemical damages. But while braiding is meant to protect our hair, could the synthetic braiding hair we use be harming our health?
That's a very valid question, dearest. And the truth is that a recent investigation by consumers reporters uncovered some shocking findings about the synthetic hair used in the styles. And so today we'll be breaking down what you need to know and what steps you can take to protect yourself and your loved ones. Now, we want to look at the alarming findings from consumer reporters, that's a CR. So let's get straight into it.
All right, let's get straight to the facts. 100% of the synthetic braiding hair products tested contain known carcinogens. These include chemicals like benzene and methylene chloride, which have directly linked to the serious illnesses such as acute myeloid, leukemia, and other cancers.
And it gets even worse because 90% of the tested products contain lead, with some exceeding California's safety standards by 600%. Lead is highly toxic, especially for children, and can cause neurological damage, developmental issues, and even learning disabilities. We're having a conversation, and I remember how you screamed when you heard that this thing can affect children. Because remember that we have parents who braid their children, right? A girl who is 3, her mom is having her braids. And sometimes we see those children crying in their photo shoots and we have no idea why exactly are these children crying. So could this be?
I mean, just maybe, right? For young children, they really can't speak up. So,
Yes.
And when a child is having discomfort, a mother's first instinct is, oh, could she be hungry? She, bloated. Is there something wrong with her? And she might not really think about the fact that, oh, it could be this braids on my little child that is causing all of this. And these things pile up. And just like that, at a young age, you say, having these diseases, it's really alarming. And I think that's why we're here today, to sensitize people on the synthetic hair braid.
Of course. And so it's very important that we understand that this isn't just data. People in our communities are experiencing real health issues. Let's talk about Crystal Thomas, the lady who came out to talk about her experience, dearest. She came out to say that she's not made hair for a long time. And then she goes on to make braids. And the next day she starts feeling very irritated. Her throat starts getting tightened. She starts feeling rashes all over. And some kind of thing just makes you wonder. We've known Black women to love braids. It's the easiest thing you want to do.
True.
It's an escape. It's something that makes you feel beautiful. Because who wants to carry tattered hair?
I mean, let me just say this. You can beat me, but you can't beat my hair.
Of course.
I think the beauty of a woman, it's in her hair, if we're being honest. So there's something about making your hair. You're having a bad day, right? And boom, you just go to the salon. And let's talk about salon is one comfort place for women, Black women. We go there to discuss, just to chill, have a good time. And if you have someone that braids your hair so well, you will want to go there all the time.
All the time.
So making hair for me is something I will do 90% of my life, if I'm being honest. And hearing this now, I'm scared. I'm like, oh, I'm currently on braid. Should I go lose this hair? Is it bad? Is there something? And the fact that I've not, had any of the symptoms. She talked about the symptoms ranging from nausea to irritated skin, to even vomiting and headaches. I don't feel it. What if it's there and I'm not feeling it? And I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And thank God for Crystal Thomas, who raised concern, because, over time, we are more concerned about food, medicine, and water, We have agencies controlling all of this, but we don't really have agencies controlling
into hair directly.
Hair. And is it because it's majorly consumed by, Black women, or is it because it's majorly consumed by women? I can't explain it, but I feel like those carcinogens, those chemicals that they use to produce this hair. Okay, now before I even talk about the chemicals, right? Now, Crystal Thomas called a particular brand, but I won't be calling their name here, and they're a popular brand. right? So she called them out, accusing them of using harmful chemicals on synthetic hair. And not just on synthetic hair, because a research was carried out. And it was discovered that more than just the synthetic hair, 10 other products contains those carcinogens. And it's sad because it ranges from synthetic hair, dyes, the one you're having here, relaxers, and other hair, hair tools that, make up our hair. And if they found out that most of this carries those chemicals, and I'm sure, this is my own ideology. It's not proven, right? But I feel like more than 90% black women across the globe consume these products. My question is, if you're going to put out a product knowing that there's so much people consuming them, why would you put chemicals that is harmful to the human body? And of course, that brand came out, they responded saying that what they produce is the fibers that are used to produce the synthetic hair. They don't have control over the finished product. So in their defense, they are saying that, yes, there might be chemicals and harmful products that are cancerous in nature, but they are not responsible for all of that.
And that's something that we expect other brands to do. I do not expect them to own up. Would you come and tell us
Obviously
that
not.
you give us chemicals that cause cancer? Of course, we don't expect you to do that. But what we are looking for is, why don't we have lab tests that are actually conducted? Why are we not having people focused or agencies focused on ensuring that these hair products are actually tested? Because can we really rely on what we see in the market? So you go to the market, you see hair extension, and you're just buying it. You really do not think, how will this affect my scalp? You really do not think, how will this affect my skin? Because your first instinct as a woman is to look beautiful.
Obviously.
Of course, like you rightly said, how is the beauty of a woman? So you're not really interested in, how will it affect me? And then we're now seeing people coming out to complain. What does it tell us? It means that we need to intensify efforts in not just food now, in even products like hair. It's the same thing people talk about creams. It's the same thing people talk about even clothes. We're not paying attention to these other things. We're only really concerned about food. I mean, even the food has its own lapses, because we still find expired foods. We still see some foods that have chemicals and wrong preservatives used, and it affects our health. But now, hair is not something that you want to think about.
No,
I have a dyed hair now. You have braids. I'm sure when I go into the salon to dye my hair, I don't start thinking, oh, this is going to cost this, because that's not what I'm interested in. But shouldn't there be people who are interested in ensuring that before this product hits the market, it is truly tested and proven to be safe for anybody to use?
Now, that's a valid point, because I feel like for that particular brand to come out and say, oh, we are not, responsible for those chemicals. So who is responsible?
Who is responsible?
Who are we really going to point fingers at, saying, oh, they are the ones responsible for all of it? Because you have, if I'm not mistaken, they have up to 90% control of what goes on in production. They own this company.
Of course.
They control what happens in the production stages.
So why can't you have a stake in what your consumers are using? That is the question.
And I feel like the fact that, Crystal Thompson is one person that has, said something, maybe if more women come out and speak up. Because now they are also researching and they are finding out that it's not only that brand, there are other brands.
There are other brands.
Popular brands. And believe
brands.
me, one of the brands that was mentioned, I've used their product before. I won't lie to you. And I'm worried. I'm really worried for myself. In my head, I'm like, even if I remove these braids I'm on, the thing in my head, I want to put another braid on. Not just braids, what of weave-ons? They produce synthetic. Yeah. What of relaxers?
What of relaxers? What of hair products?
Thank you.
So nothing is really safe if they are not going through the true due process of testing and certification to ensure that, yes, this is accredited, this is something that we can use. So there's a whole lot of lapses that needs to be fixed. And now, it is not on the consumers. I don't think it's the work of the consumers to tell producers, yes, you have to do the right thing. First off, let's not even talk about doing the right thing. What happens to your conscience? What happens to... Now, I just remember the movie, Beauty in Black.
Yeah,
right?
we said something earlier.
When I watched Beauty in Black, this movie, a movie by Tyler Perry, by the way, it had women using hair, black women still using hair, a relaxer called Beauty in Black that was killing them. It was giving them cancer. There are mothers who use relaxers on their children. They had those children dying, and it was only after different people started going to hospital to carry out research and check that they found out that it was caused by the relaxer. What did you do? They hit the premise, they started shouting, raising flags and posters and everything to raise their voice. But tell me, those people knew what they were doing.
True.
They produced it. What was their interest? Profit, first of all. So it's not humanity first. It is my money first. So I feel like we should first be human. You're a company, you're producing something that humans will use. Your first line of thought shouldn't be, I just want to make profit. It should be, what legacy am I going to be leaving behind? Do I want to hear that people died in my name, that because they used this, they died? What am I leaving behind?
I feel like people who produce all of this should always put the consumers in mind.
Exactly.
First. Okay, the last time I used relaxer on my hair, I felt so much pain. And to go back and use relaxer again, I'm having PTSD because even the lady close to me, she was feeling my pain. It was that bad. I wonder what chemicals they use in it. And I think it's harmful. So I now had to go and do some research. Like, what can I use to, instead of relaxers on my hair? And I found out some really safer ingredients. And I feel like, I'm sure people who produce this thing, they know that there are other safer ingredients to use, other than the harsh ones that can cause pain. Because imagine feeling so much pain. My hair was literally burning. And I'm telling you this, like, that's what I experienced. And I had to start, on my own, because I don't want to experience that pain again. I had to start doing research to find out if there are other products that are safer for me to use on my hair, because obviously I still need to take care of my hair. And it's sad that we're talking about this, because the truth is we will still use braids.
We will.
And it's sad. So I feel like they should find other chemicals that are safer.
There is the interesting thing. You'll be amazed that most of those products are built from natural things. But what do? They want more, so they enhance it. It's just like when you're nursing or when you have a poultry farm.
Yeah.
There are people who say they reared their chickens for 6 months. There are those who say in 2 months it's ready. How healthy is it? So it's the same thing. It's like, okay, I need this thing to give me more money, so I'll enhance it with chemicals so it grows very fast. So I have more profits. So it's not like there are no natural things. I think that it is now, with all of this happening, with all of this finding, we now have to start looking out for those natural things that we have. You might be surprised that even behind your house,
it is
around your backyard.
Now, do you know what I found out? That if you blend avocados, eggs, rosemary, olive oil, or coconut oil, or even shea butter oil, and use it on your hair, especially for people with natural hair, it's better than even using relaxer.
You see, that's what I'm saying. So what this finding will do is it's going to make people go back to their roots and really do research. We want the easy way out. Of course, we want the easy life. And so that's why we'll easily escape to relaxer.
And you talked about, sorry to cut you short, you talked about chemicals. Now, I noticed at some point, even when you go to the market to get food, stuffs and all, let me use bananas as a case study. I noticed that most times you buy bananas, they've used chemicals on it, and you think they're actually ripe, and you go home and they taste really bad. Really bad. People do this intentionally. I want to believe they are not, they are not mistaken by adding chemicals to it. Why are they doing this? When
we started talking, we spoke about how there's NAFDAC in Nigeria. Yeah. They have the FDA, the other place. They have Food Drug Administration. We have NAFDAC here in Nigeria. Now, we have NAFDAC supposed to look at those things, right?
Yeah, sure.
But trust me, I'm not sure that NAFDAC is supposed to come to your backyard and tell you that do not use kabaya and make this watermelon get ripe. Somebody was telling me the other day that this is how you protect yourself, because the truth is the government cannot fight every battle. So the onus is now on you to also be very alert. When you go to buy bananas, the same banana you said, he said, when it is evenly ripe, so yellow and beautiful all the way, it is not good. Run from it. Something that's naturally ripe will not be even. And I was like, really? I never thought about that.
That's a new one. Okay, I think I'll put that in my mind.
And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. Person is a pharmacist, by the way. And when he said it, I said, oh, okay. So I have to be more careful. Because I bought mangoes that day. I was really angry. The mangoes looked so ripe, all the way yellow and beautiful. I went home and inside was dark. I did not understand. I actually ate one and my lips started peeling. I started getting this irritation on my lips. So what does it tell us? We have to start doing the work by ourselves.
True.
Because we really cannot see. Of course, these agencies will be there. But trust me, they cannot get to everybody's house. No matter how much we see, they can't get to everybody's house. But I think there's something that we also need to talk
All right.
about, the fact that there are volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, that were detected in every product tested. And these include chemicals like acetone, which can irritate the skin and respiratory system, leading to dizziness, nausea, and long-term health effects. So all of these things were still found in synthetic hair, in the wigs. You know how we say, oh, wig is a better escape. I think the only difference with wig is I can always take it off anytime. But with braids, you have it on for a long time.
For like 3, 4, 5 weeks.
People use,
depending.
exactly. People use braids for 6 weeks, and we are finding out all of these things. I think we should just quickly look at the impact of all of this, and so it guides us to know what we need to do.
All right. Now, this isn't just data. People in our communities are experiencing real health issues. Take Crystal Thomas, for example. She started noticing severe scalp irritation, headaches, and even difficulty in breathing after installing synthetic braids. Now, I'm sure because Crystal Thomas said something, right? Now, people will now go back and say, oh, maybe that's why I was feeling
Exactly.
nausea. Oh, maybe that's why I had serious headache the day I made my hair. And I blamed it on something else. And now people are getting
People are more conscious.
more conscious, and they are, more informed about it. Now, her experience isn't unique. Many black women, I beg your pardon, have shared stories, yet the lack of awareness around this issue has kept it out of the spotlight for too long. Given that synthetic braids are often worn for 6 weeks at a time, these harmful chemicals are being absorbed into our bodies for extended periods. Now, imagine me and you were different individuals, right? Now, for you, if you're on braids, you might not have the same reaction I'll be having.
True.
Maybe because we have different, resistance system in our organs. And let's say you notice something, remove the hair, maybe because you're having discomfort. I don't notice it. Then I carry this hair for 6 weeks. Do you know how harmful that can be to my health?
Without even knowing.
I have no idea.
No clue, nothing.
And I don't even have a lab to go and say, okay, I want to do this testing myself. How many people has time to go and start testing hair? Unlike food, when you notice, oh, this food is already bad,
You can just stop, trash it.
But for hair, you don't know. The only thing when it comes to hair that you might really know is the relaxer. If it's expired and use it, it might really, it might cause more harm than good. And I think that's the only hair, ingredient that I might say, okay, fine, that one can be. But for braids, well, thank God for the fact that we are talking about it today, because really, prior to this moment, I had no idea. And I won't lie to
So
you.
this is really enlightening. But let us see things that we can do as individuals to help ourselves in this situation. What can we do to stop this? Now, the first thing is to be informed. All right. You need to check product recalls, research brands, and read labels carefully. Unfortunately, some companies may not fully tell you what they have in their product, but it is on you because you'll be using this on yourself. So ensure that you're staying vigilant by checking every ingredient.
Sure.
There's some chemicals that are very harmful to your skin, to your scalp, to your hair, to your nose, to the things around you. And if you feel a certain way, trust me, you won't just be scratching. I don't know. I remember one time I used relaxer.
Yeah.
I was really young. I couldn't sleep. My skin was peeling off. I could hear. And I was enduring the pain because it was here for Christmas. So I had to
And you can
endure the
imagine
pain.
minors, young children, infants.
Infant.
I feel like mothers should stop using relaxers on a child. Completely. Anybody watching this, if you have a child in the house, please don't use relaxers on them.
I even think even
it damages
braids.
their brain
Yes.
at a young age. And let's say, God forbid, your child is not receptive to information
thing,
anymore,
yeah.
and cannot process things. You don't know you are the cause. So please use other natural ingredients, especially on children. I'm not saying adults are exempted, but please, especially
in children. I mean, they are more prone to be affected by this. And I think even braids. I see some mothers making hairs on kids and I
Tight
wonder.
braids.
Tight braids.
For photo shoots.
For photo shoots.
Or for Instagram.
For my big one, for the babies, they say, oh, baby is turning 1, so big one, and you're braiding the child's hair. I don't think it's healthy at this point. Let us try to deal with the adults, but for the children, We can stop totally.
True.
Let's stop totally. It's not healthy. It's not beauty. Nothing. If they can have the natural hair, fine.
Why not?
Why not? Why not? Nurse it and pamper it and grow it right.
True.
So the next one.
Another way to, how can we stop this? How we can limit exposure. Now try to avoid wearing synthetic braids for prolonged periods. Take break between installations to allow your scalp and skin recover. I think this is not just for people to hear, for me also.
Yeah.
When you're on braids, maybe 2 weeks.
Just give it
I
time.
know braids are expensive. People will be like, oh, do you know how much you buy all of this, braids and all, and pay to make them? Yes, it's quite expensive, but truly, your health is more expensive to manage if it goes wrong. So yes, we can limit how much time we carry braids on, and maybe if we limit them. Or I can't say you should stop braiding your hair, because really, would you? I mean, I wouldn't stop also, but I might limit.
Yeah. I think that's very important. So in that case, I think we can think of considering safer alternatives.
Yeah.
So you can look for brands that use non-toxic, hypoallergenic, or natural fibers. So you have to be very cautious, because the lack of regulation of some labels can be very, very misleading. So it is on you to be extra careful. Find alternative. Darius told us about she not using relaxers anymore. She's opting for shea butter,
More natural
ingredients and
avocados
substances,
and
avocados.
stuff.
Think of those things, okay? And if you must use them, if you must use the synthetic hair, give it time. Don't just use it one way. I've seen people carry hair for 3 months. Just calm down. Because the truth is, nothing is worth your health. Yes, nothing is worth your health.
Yeah.
You might think it's still beautiful, but at this point, your health is paramount. And we do not want to lose you.
Okay, so someone was saying, because I did some research and I heard someone saying that natural hair, that's the human hair, is better. So there's human hair, then synthetic hair. And I think people opt for synthetic hair because it's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Right? So maybe switch from that. We don't know. Maybe tomorrow someone else will come out and say, oh, the human hair is even worse, but we don't know for now. So let's just, be safe.
Yeah, please, as much as you can. Another way to ensure that you are safe is to wash your synthetic hair before use. We recommend soaking synthetic hair in apple cider vinegar or warm water before installation to remove surface chemicals. Through this,
very important.
Though this may not eliminate all harmful substances, but trust me, it will go a long way. And ensuring that you are safe, your scalp is safe, your skin is safe. Ensure that you wash. So when you go to buy the synthetic hair now, don't just use them, wash them. I know that sometimes we see hairstylists, after making the hair, they apply hot water on it.
Yes,
they do it for to get a particular style.
And to coil,
And
maybe
to coil,
for it to shine better.
Yeah. But now, it shouldn't just be about the styling. It should be deliberate because of your health. So there's a health concern, and we must be deliberate about what you do now.
Now, this conversation is long overdue. The beauty industry must be held accountable, and consumers deserve better. We need more testing, more transparency, and most importantly, safer products.
And now, thank you very much, dearest. We need very safe products. And it's now time for us to hear from you. How will you join this conversation? Have you heard any health concerns linked to synthetic braiding hair? Quickly use the Idea Morning Digest across our social media platforms on Idea TV and let us know what you've experienced. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to share your experience. And of course, if possible, reach out to us on ideatelevision@gmail.com. And we could have you as a guest on our next edition of the Idea Morning Digest. And so that's all for today. And we were glad to have you join us on this interesting conversation. I'm very sure that it was eye-opening for you and everyone else around you. So do not keep this to yourself. Share our links, share our YouTube links, share the message. Tell people what you've learned today. Of course, until we come your way next time, my name is China Twaji, and I've been with
Dearest Mba.
And together we are saying
Bye for now.